Hello and welcome to episode 32 of our Hearts of Iron 3 Puppet Master series. Things have actually really started going very well for us in the last episode. We pulled off 3 encirclements, now that I think about it. One on the Romanian border, which took out a couple of very powerful Soviet divisions, then drove forward and encircled a few fairly weak divisions around Odessa, and then the big one, we managed to trap a bunch of Soviet divisions in the Crimean Peninsula, which also relinked our forces up with our allies, so helped those guys out a bit. And then right at the very end of the episode, we managed a larger encirclement in southern Ukraine, which we are just now finishing. So instead of talking a bit more, I'm just going to get straight into it. So you can see here there are still 3 Soviet divisions fighting on in the rear lines, but I'm assuming they'll be crushed pretty soon. And once that comes, I'm not really sure what we'll do. We haven't gained a lot of territory. As you see, we're now 4 provinces deep into the Ukraine, or the Soviet Union, which isn't a huge gain in territory, but it is actually a lot more than we've had recently. And I see our allies have captured Minsk, so I might take that off as an objective and get them to move forward somewhere. I want to keep the pressure on the Soviets as much as I can since they are being driven back. And let's just go straight for Leningrad. It's ambitious, but it is where we want to end up eventually, so a long-term goal. Or what do they call it? Aspirational goal. Something to aspire to. Our resistance base was captured, but as you can see they are spreading quite rapidly throughout Indochina. Latvia wants military access, but I'm not really going to bother with that. I mean, Latvia's not one of my puppets, so I don't really want to have anything to do with them, because I'm going to invade them once I defeat the Soviet Union. At least, theoretically, once I defeat the Soviet Union. There's still a long way to go. Of course, if you've been following the series, you would know that at one point we actually captured Stalingrad, and we've actually been driven back from there all the way to the Romanian border. So this land we are capturing now is, well, the second time we've captured it. See, I'm kind of looking at my SS troops. They're not in great shape, or at least von Erdmannsdorf's division isn't, but a few of the other ones are, and we're basically just moving up for a little bit of an encirclement just around Kiev here. Hopefully, I'm hoping at this point to just head up towards these swamps and hopefully trap the Soviet divisions against the swamps there. Probably won't really work. These divisions will be able to withdraw across the swamps, but it will make getting supplies into those divisions very difficult, which should make them kind of an easy victory on the road to Kiev here, if I can pull off this little encirclement. More underground resistance, and send it over to Indochina, where I'm kind of building up a revolt, really. Just continue spreading for now. No new ones. That's okay. They'll come in time. Well, it looks like we might actually accidentally capture Kiev on our way past, which would be very interesting, but we might also pull off a little bit of an encirclement here. 3 Soviet divisions, and possibly if things go very well, also that mechanized division there could get encircled. And encirclements are really how you inflict massive manpower losses on your enemies, and that's what I need to do against the Soviets now, because well, my manpower is negative, about negative 300 or so I really have to make the Soviets hurt at least as much as I'm hurting if I want to have a hope of winning this. We've just managed to drive the Soviets out of Kiev, so we'll capture the city shortly. And yeah, we have managed to encircle that mechanized division, so that was a good victory there. And well, as you can see, we've basically done what I said. We've forced the Soviets into the swamp. They won't be getting much in the way of supplies, and yeah, we've managed to take Kiev. So that actually went much smoother than I thought. And we've got a few divisions encircled along the way, which is always a very nice thing to happen. And my SS troops are kind of scattered along the front here around Kiev. Unfortunately, I've only got 5 SS divisions, which are my main attacking force, but because I've got no manpower, I can't actually build any more. Oh, and it looks like I've lost the headquarters at some point. But I'll just attach all these troops into the Oberkommando Europe's hierarchy, and at some point they'll... well, the entire First Army group wasn't attached. At some point these troops will rearrange themselves to a more logical formation. But it's best just to get them under AI control, because I'm not going to do anything with them. It kind of is bad to leave all your troops under AI control. The AI is just not all that intelligent in this game. Although I'm really liking the AI in Hearts-of-Iron 4. I just finished watching the latest World War Wednesday, and I'm really looking forward to it, playing with decent AI. But for now, it's still, what, 60 odd days away? So I just have to wait. So yeah, what was I saying? Oh, the AI in Hearts-of-Iron 3 is kind of bad, but for a country the size of Germany, I just kind of really can't keep track of my forces sufficiently to actually play with it all under manual control, at least not at decent speed. If it was on speed 1 I might be able to, but I get bored very quickly playing at that speed. So it looks like the Soviets are actually pushing back a bit in the south of Ukraine. And I'm just going to leave my SS troops holding the line here for now, partly to let them recover their organisation, but also to let my allies kind of push up to defend the line we've taken here. Actually, I'll just see me relocating them south a bit. Kepler's division's got decent organisation. I just kind of want to push up to this river line as a good defensive position. I know I just said I'd leave them intact, but it's much easier to just defend behind the river line, so I might as well push up to there, then let the AI take over. It's not going to be difficult with the Soviets in this condition. So a few more resistances. And we found some more Australian troops. And a lot more resistances. Right now, we possibly have enough resistance troops to actually retake Indochina from the Australians. But give it time and we'll get even more. And the more troops, well, yeah, the more partisan troops we have, the better chances we'll have of driving the Australians out. Okay, so we've moved up to the river line. I believe that's the Dniepr. But as you're all probably well aware by now, I cannot pronounce Russian names, and Russia has lots of rivers. So I could be wrong on both pronouncing it and it might be the wrong river. I'll set Moscow as an aspirational target for my allies. And might as well go with Stalingrad. If you capture all 3, you're basically pretty close to defeating the Soviet Union. And I think I've had spies working on the Soviet Union's national unity as well over the years, so they might actually surrender a bit easier than they would normally. Oh, plus I've got my V2 strikes, that would also be lowering national unity. We no longer need Kiev as an objective because my allies want to go forward instead of defending. Well, at least I want my allies to go forward rather than defending. And oh, the Soviets have retaken Minsk. It's not that big a deal. And I think I actually lied earlier. I think we are actually still pushing forward in southern Ukraine. It's just a bit irregular. Forward here, back there, forward again somewhere else. But overall things are looking pretty good for us. My SS troops are kind of in a position to attack south. Negative 212 manpower there is not ideal. And well, you can see this division here, I just happened to click on it, it just happened to have all of 400 soldiers. So that would improve our manpower quite a bit. And yep, I have plenty of officers, so I will reduce that a bit and get more spies. And actually I don't need technology at all, really. So some technology, but I'm already pretty far advanced. And that will get me a bunch more spies, who I'm sending to the Soviet Union on covert operations apparently. Okay, I thought I was disrupting the national unity, which apparently they've got 100%. So let's not covert operations, let's disrupt national unity, that's better. Our political group is not strong enough to organise a coup. That's not surprising at all. I've got enough points to do it, but anyway. Sabotage area. Reduce speed effects in some random bits below the front lines. Scout local battle plans. Scout area. None of these actually seem really appealing to me. But well, I've got the points. I probably should use them on something. Let's just sabotage the area around Moscow. And that would leave me on 9 covert outposts, which isn't enough to do anything. So that kind of solves that problem. It's not exactly useful, slowing troops in around Moscow, but we couldn't do anything better with it anyway. Soviets are 7.8% of the way to surrendering. So we're getting there. A bit of a way to go still though. And the Soviets are actually pushing into northern Poland again. So probably me taking Minsk away as an objective maybe wasn't great for them. They're probably all heading to Homel here since it's close to the front lines and easy to get to. But I'll take Homel off as an objective. I mean, Poland's mostly defending its country, so that's okay. And the city that we've fought over many, many times, but I can never pronounce the name of, is no longer an objective. They're heading on to Stalingrad. Another infantry division shattered. It's been a while since that happened. And Riyadh is the capital of one of my allies, so it really doesn't need to be an objective for them to capture. And we're not going well in Persia. And the Soviets have actually started invading India, but I mean the war's going to be won here in Europe, so hopefully we can defeat the Soviets here and then we won't have to worry about India. And I'm still not attacking with my SS troops. I kind of see an opportunity immediately to south just to attack down the river line like I did in Romania, to cut off a bunch of Soviet troops, but for now it actually looks like the front's pretty stable, so I kind of have a feeling that if I just drive forward like you see me doing here, I might be able to loop back around them and go for a larger encirclement. I just kind of have to rely on the AI, well, my allied AI backing me up, and the Soviet AI also taking a lot of troops away from the front to try and chase me down. But if I can take Kharkov here, it's actually pretty threatening. It's a pretty short drive down towards Rostov to reach the Sea of Azov, and that would threaten a lot of Soviet troops and kind of open up the, well, southern half of the Ukrainian front here. And we're less than 200 manpower short, so that's a big improvement to usual. But the attacks here don't actually look like they're going great. North of Kiev we're doing alright, but our SS troops to the south there, they're only barely winning. Yeah, the 5th SS has basically been defeated and taken heavy casualties. The 4th is still in decent condition, but I'm starting to think this attack might not be happening. I mean, we'll probably win this battle. The Soviets only have soft troops, while the 5th has just been knocked back, but the 4th is still attacking. They should be able to defeat the 3 Soviet divisions without too much difficulty. My northern push here has gone very well, but it's probably not going to be enough by itself. So I'm going to bring them back in. Just to relink up with the southern troops. And, well, at least we've inflicted some losses on the Soviets and forced a few of them off the front. Although it looks like we've now lost all the territory we've gained over the Don. Not the Don, the Dniester. So, kind of a pointless offensive, really. Drove over the river, turned around and drove back. Yep, I'll set the AI to attacking. It's been on defensive for a while because I want to maintain my manpower. But that's no longer necessary. And the 4th SS has taken heavy losses as well. The river crossing penalty must be really hurting it. Oh, it's up against the mechanised division now. But the mechanised division is about to be attacked in the rear by 3 SS divisions. So it's not going to go well for it. Oh good, the AI managed to cross the river just to the north of where our major battle is. And yeah, basically as soon as the SS attack the mechanised troops in the rear, that's the basically the end of that battle. And I'll just spread out a bit here, create a bit of a bridgehead over the river, just to make it easier for the AI to push out once they get themselves organised. And Kepler, we're no longer going on to Kharkov, that's a bit too ambitious. Oh, and you can see my allies have actually pushed right up along the Sea of Azov, which is very useful if we do try to decide to head south to encircle these troops behind the river here. More resistances, you know where they're going. And we'll just see, there's quite a few here that we can set to expand. And we just lost one, but we've got so many there that losing one's not at all a concern. Just going to expanding this bridgehead, and of course defending against Soviet attacks. But yeah, the Soviet divisions have taken heavy manpower losses, so it's definitely their manpower that's causing them to break apart here. I mean, the fact that I've encircled a bunch of divisions was also, at least temporarily, going to hurt them. But the manpower losses are the long-term thing that's going to basically win this war, I think. Okay, we're actually pretty solidly over the river here. Just trying to strike north a bit here to cut off that heavy armour division that's trying to retreat. They are very... oh, well, it's too late, but we'll attack it anyway, hopefully do a few more losses. Although it's in much better condition than my SS division. But those heavy divisions are very expensive to make, and it's always very good to destroy one of them, just because it's a pretty huge investment of Soviet industry, but not worth it if we're not going to cut it off. Unfortunately, that wasn't really pointless. It got us over the river here, but didn't do a lot in terms of encircling Soviet troops or wiping out huge swathes of their manpower. But it's left our SS Corps kind of disorganised, so we can't really go for the southern encirclement here that I've been talking about for a while now. At least, well, probably a few of these divisions are in good shape. Von Erdmannsdorf isn't. But these two will just be following up my allies here, my forward divisions. Kepler's in an alright condition. I believe Reinhardt is in good condition. And Students, I believe, is in, well, perfect condition. I Okay, unfortunately we are going to be one province away from the coast. So that's actually a problem. But I'm sure we'll work it out. We'll just go for it, and hopefully the AI will be able to push up to cover our rear, or we'll be able to figure out a way to shorten the front line here. I didn't really put a lot of thought into it. Soviets are counter-attacking, but the mechanized division's not gonna do much to us. No, it's delaying us, but we've won that defensive battle. We can now move on. Unfortunately, my allies haven't really pushed up as quickly as I'd like them to, so there's already a bit of a gap behind my SS troops. Actually, it seems like they're mostly concentrating on encircling the troops that I'm, well, engaging the troops I'm trying to encircle. Which at least prevents them from retreating, but it's not really what I want to happen here. I'd rather they're defending my rear so I can get this encirclement done safely. I really don't want to lose any SS troops at this point. Oh, we're fighting, well, technically it's a Persian division, but it looks like it was a Soviet Guards division that they gave to the Persians, and the Persians sent them right back into the Ukraine. We'll leave the resistance for now and focus on this encirclement and getting it right. Good, the Italians are there to cover our back. Actually, yeah, we could, if we head straight down the riverline here, we could possibly link up with the Italians or the French in that city. It starts with Z, I believe it's Zanapol or something like that. Was that Prosy? I think it's Prosy. Which again, it's not how you say it, but it's how I say it. Don't really want to send my SS troops into urban combat though, at least not against a prepared opponent. But might not really have a lot of choice here, to be honest. Gonna wait for Reinhardt to finish its battle before I can do anything else, but Student can start swinging south. And yeah, when we capture Zaporozhye, we'll still be one province away from completing the encirclement. But hopefully the AI will push up a bit, and well, in one way or the other, so we'll be able to shift our troops around to complete it. Because otherwise my SS troops will be in a bit of a vulnerable position here. And that Soviet division actually had a lot of manpower, so it's only some of them that are very low. Which means their manpower isn't actually critical, and actually, if we do capture that city, that would actually shorten our line enough that we could link up with friendly troops. Like this province Reinhardtsen we would no longer have to hold, so I'll send it right into... well, I better actually capture the city first before I start making plans on how to get around it. And actually, yes, we'll move in, help our allies out in that battle, which will shorten our line by one more. And at that point, we don't actually need to get Zaporozhye, we could head straight on to Mariupol and complete the encirclement there. Fortunately, Student's already attacking, so we'll send a little bit wider. You can see some of the Soviet troops are trying to escape our encirclement here. Oh, and if we don't win this battle, this whole plan's just come undone. Well, we've got the organisation advantage. We are crossing a river into a city, so it's quite good defensive terrain for that infantry, but my SS divisions are powerful troops. And hopefully if we can win that, well, we've already won that battle to the immediate west, hopefully Bremer's division can swing around. Bremer von Erdmannsdorf. Von Erdmannsdorf division is the ones attacking that place, and hopefully he can swing around and support our attack into the city. Oh, lots of new ones over here. I say lots, I mean two. Two new ones. I want a whole bunch more in the south, that's great. I mean, there's not really any logic behind where I'm putting these things. I'm just kind of putting them down randomly and expect them to spread out, and eventually they'll get to the useful places. And there we go, encirclement almost complete, just need to capture that city. And unfortunately these guys aren't in great shape. Students got some organisation, so should be able to attack over. But Kepler's not going to make it. Actually, Bremer could hopefully cover Kepler's back, allow it to continue the attack. No. Okay, we're going to have to do this by manoeuvre, just to try and hold the front lines while my allies push up here. Otto von Erdmannsdorf, almost there. And yeah, Kepler's having to withdraw. So unfortunately we're down to 4 SS divisions, at least until Kepler recovers. And we kind of need 5 to hold the front here. And Reinhardt's division's under attack, inflicting heavy losses on the infantry attacking it though, so hopefully it'll come right. Bremer's attacking a heavily damaged mechanised division, so that should go well for us. And the Belgian troops have reached Mariupol, so our southern flank is secure in that we're not going to get outflanked. It's just whether Reinhardt can survive in the province immediately to its north. My SS divisions are great at attacking, but not so great in defence, unfortunately, and it actually looks like Reinhardt might lose this. No, we've managed to break the Soviet tactic, which means that we're probably going to win this one. Just their assault was completely ruined by whatever tactic Reinhardt picked, and they don't get any of the bonuses, whereas we get all of ours. And we'll drop one in Poland, since it is being occupied. And Reinhardt's pulled back, so actually I was mistaken, we have lost it. Which means the Soviets, well, they've actually already got a way out, but even when I take this province that Bremer's moving into, will be cut off to the south. Although I see the Czechs are moving up, and I'll send Student down south to help him out. And hopefully Reinhardt will get a bit of time to recover organisation, enough to hold that province against the Soviets. And yep, there's a Czech infantry division there, and a Slovak infantry division up in the north. Oh. Okay, well we've reached the official end of the game. It's the 1st of January 1948. And this is a good enough spot to end this episode. So you just look at my manpower, negative 212. I will continue this next time, just because I really want to beat the Soviet Union. I've been fighting for so long, and this war's just been so back and forwards, that I really want to win, even though I should have really won about 3 or 4 years ago, to be honest. But I don't really have enough troops under my command. I found when I'm playing as Germany, if I get about 20 panzer divisions and play them under my personal command, I can basically just defeat the Soviet Union on near enough to any difficulty. Well, it's hard to get that number of divisions on hard and still have decent infantry. But if you can get that many panzer divisions and still have enough infantry to hold a front line, it's actually pretty easy to beat the Soviets. It's just unfortunately I've been trying to do it with 8 divisions, and it's just not quite powerful enough to do the massive encirclements you need to actually, or at least I need to really drive the Soviets back. But anyway, things have been going very well for us, and if we can pull off this encirclement on the Dnieper here, it's a fair few Soviet divisions, and it probably won't break open their front the way I was talking about it originally, but it would still inflict heavy manpower losses, and I'm pretty sure the Soviets are out of manpower, so they won't be able to use their industrial capacity to replace these divisions. They'll just have to fight on with what they have. I've just got to avoid getting my SS troops getting encircled because I'm in the exact same situation, so if they get encircled, I can't replace them. So it's very much an in-game scenario here, where basically all of our pieces are on the board. We've just got to try and knock out the Soviet pieces and not let them knock any of ours out. But anyway, that is next time's problem. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time.